Hello everybody. We have a game with the with the white pieces against south side right to 920. We don't get a Rui Lopez, but we do get a two pawns in the center game. Our opponent develops their bishop. It creates no threats. We can continue with development towards the center. My opponent develops a piece and attacks our center. Let me develop a minor piece that defends it and prepares castling. My opponent plays c6, maybe setting up a d5 pawn advance, but that's no problem. We could castle if we want. Let's do that. And now our king's out of the way. Our position looks solid and well developed. So he goes for b5. Weird move. It doesn't threaten anything. I don't mind seeing it. Okay, we have various pieces we could develop. This bishop I'm gonna stay flexible with. Not sure where I want it just yet. And I'm gonna play the move a4 now that he created this hook where I can attack it in one move. The pawn is currently hanging, so he has to respond, and he can't respond with this pawn because we could take it. So he pushes past, and my plan if he did this was to simply play c3 and attack it again, support our center. If he takes it, he develops our knight. And so if he doesn't take it, we can take and then develop our knight. We can even push past and create a nice center. Lots of decisions, all good for us. He now breaks in the center, attacks our pawn twice, but we're more than happy to play e5, one of our favorite moves in any of our games, kicking this knight, opening our bishop, and starting an attack on the king side. So now he has to move his knight, and he has no pressure in the center, so white's just much better. He takes this pawn. You could take back with the b pawn and just solidify the pawn chain for when he plays c5, which should come at some point. But that's all assuming his knight wasn't hanging. So I attacked his knight, and then he takes the pawn. So in this line, the knight's hanging. So this is just a blunder by him. We take the knight, we ignore the pawn. But if the knight wasn't hanging, you could choose which way you want to take. Okay, so he takes the bishop with the bishop. So again, here you can choose. Do you want to take with the pawn and just stop all the pressure? Yeah, let's do that. It opens our bishop to the king. And we're up a piece. South side is going down. We can continue our development. We can get the knight out. And just see what black does. You don't have to rack your brain when you're up a piece. He makes a pawn move that maybe offers some future trades, but we don't mind trades since we're up a piece. So let's make a flexible, well, he probably wants the castle. We could go here, forcing trades. We have to develop anyway, so we might as well stop castling and force him to go back if he wants to. Yeah, it's one option. If he doesn't go back, I mean, this doesn't work because it just hangs a pawn. So there's no real way to block this diagonal other than going back or two moves with the knight. So maybe he's going to try the knight moves, but we could also attack it, pin it, take it. We don't have to let him do what he wants, but it doesn't really matter. let's get our rook in the game on the semi-open file, supporting a knight jump in the center. Develop a new piece because this knight, we'll bring it out at some point. Maybe next. Maybe we can stick it in here. Because if it goes to d2, I mean, it could support this knight on the same route, but... Okay, so he puts his bishop here. This just offers a trade. I'm going to go for it, but I'm going to initiate because I want his rook to be misplaced. It doesn't belong here, and it allows me to develop my queen with an attack. Either way, whether you take his bishop or let him take you, you know, it makes no difference. You choose your preference, you're up a piece. His rook is hanging. Hopefully he notices. And the moves I'm looking at is maybe try to get a knight to that square and this outpost. So maybe fix our knights next to their best, some of their best squares. Okay, let's start with this knight since this knight's already developed. He still can't castle unless he puts a minor piece on e7, which you'd think he'd do at some point. Okay, so he moves the queen. That's weird. I could put a rook here now with an attack, so maybe I'll start with that. What does he want? Queen f4? I mean, we can offer queen trades because we're up stuff. He still can't castle. Our rook's good. Our bishop's good. Our pieces are just very nice. So he does go queen f4. I don't really buy any of this. He's not threatening anything. He's just sitting there. And the queen's vulnerable, if anything. And can he create a threat? Not even. He can't even... There's nothing he can do. So I kind of want to ignore him. I do want to put my knight here, but maybe get my rook in first so I don't block the rook when I stick my knight there. They're both good moves, but maybe rook infiltration is definitely more fun and very active. We could put our knight here next. We can also pin his knight because it's hard for him to defend. He would have to put his rook here, but then we can attack it again maybe. Then maybe he has to put his king here or something weird, or his queen back. More options, and then we can add pressure with the knight in the center, a third attacker. So maybe that works, you know, kind of like a bishop. We use the queen and then we pin it. I guess he could take with his bishop. Either way, our position's amazing. But he's trying to fight back. He now retreats the bishop so he can finally castle. That's his idea. Now his queen definitely, you know, is all by itself and cannot do anything against the castled king without coordinating pieces, so we can ignore that. If we take this, he has to take with the knight, retreating a piece. Then we can come in with check, we can come in with knight forks, we can come in the center. Oof, so bad for him. All of our moves are really good. But instead of that, I'm going to increase the pressure and do what we talked about, create this pin. If he takes here, we can pick up the knight with check first and then get the piece back, winning a piece. So he castles, but the bishop is hit twice and the knight is hit once. They're both hanging. So let's take, which one do we want to take? If we take the knight, he's going to put a rook here. Let's just take the bishop and hit the rook, so when he takes back, we just have a very clean tactic that we don't have to really worry about anything. We're just up a second piece. He's going to hit our queen, but we're totally safe on the back rank. Even this weird knight protects the b1 square, so he can't use it. So now we move the queen. We don't have a checkmate just yet. We almost have a checkmate. We just need to be triple stacked. That's funny. Okay, so he might blunder this checkmate at some point when I take this pawn. If he moves one of his rooks off the back rank. So let's move our queen. Here he can't hit it again. Here he can't hit it. I guess here adds a lot of pressure. This way and this way and this way. And also even this way, because takes. Yeah, that would be checkmate. I just have to watch my back rank there if I move my rook. But otherwise, I might be able to sack stuff. Also, there's no need. I could just hop my knight in and add another attacker. But if he moves any of these off the back rank, we just hit him with the checkmate. And yeah, we're up these two knights, which are kind of just weird looking. But once you get this knight here, you immediately ruin all of his hopes. So he goes defensive. So now, if I take this, it would be checkmate if he takes back, but he's not going to take back. He's going to give me this check. Although I suppose if he does, you can go back. Your knight's hanging. Yeah, that's also unnecessary. Let's just add a third attacker for fun. You could do any number of things. There's lots of, all the moves are winning. Even h3 is winning, so don't worry about what you were going to do. It's all fine. Any knight forward would have been fine. And he just has nothing to do. The second he wants to use either this or this file, knight here stops both. So he has no counterplay, nothing to do really. Just hope I blunder a back ranked mate, but that's not going to happen. But at his level 900, it does happen, so he is trying to fight back, and he's taking his time, so all good things from South Side. If they keep it up, they'll probably climb. So he attacks my queen, but I can move my queen. I guess I can just move it anywhere. They're all kind of the same. And if he attacks me again, I'll just move it around a bunch of times, pick up whatever free material I can, see what he does. He might just try to keep hitting it, but he doesn't. He moves his queen in my camp, hits my rook, maybe the pawn. You can move your rook, and funnily enough add more attackers, which is interesting. You could also just bring your knight back. This hits his queen, it protects the rook. It shows you that you don't need to be afraid of ever going back. Don't leave a piece there because psychologically you refuse to move a piece back. Who cares if you move it back or not? Who cares if you repeat the same position and you move the same piece multiple times if it solves your problems, if it's a good move, you know. You just want results. It doesn't matter if nothing else matters really. So queen to b2. He's now attacking this knight, and we're now going to put this knight where we want it all along. Just blocking the file. It's a little bit annoying for him. It also can add another attacker. So he doubles up on the knight, which is a little bit weird. And I'm going to let him have the file, and I am going to stop his attack on my queen and add a third attacker. It looks annoying for him. Maybe he'll try to hunt the a pawn, but at the end of the day he's down 2 pieces, so he could take a pawn. I don't really care. And this pawn's hanging on f7. He has no way to defend it, and if he moves it, it's checkmate in 3. So he'll probably move one of these pieces, but to where? You know, he can't attack the queen, so you can't really do anything. And if your queen goes to hunt this pawn, it disconnects from the rook, which means the other rook might be overloaded. So he hangs his queen so that if I take, he takes, and I get mated. That is clever. However, simple move h3, calm, collected move, right? I didn't panic. And if he takes my rook, he loses a queen. And if he leaves his queen there, I'll take it next because I have an escape square. So although it's a clever move, it's an ineffective clever move. But it's kind of cool that a 900 found that idea. But remember, your opponents are not forced to take your pieces. And you can see how strong this knight is here, doing such a great job. Sure, it looks great on e5 and is also doing a nice roll there, but why not, if you can just keep it on f3 and it solves all your defensive problems, just do it. So now he goes for the queen trade, trying to alleviate the pressure, which does make sense. I mean, we're up 2 pieces, so we could just take it. Do we have a cool move, though? I want a cool move. I don't really see a cool move. If I take this pawn and he takes my queen, I net the pawn. If I take this pawn and he takes my rook, then I can do this. I mean, we both have a minute. There's no need for this, is there? Now we just put this here. His rooks now have absolutely no play on the B or C files unless the rook sacks itself for the knight. And meanwhile, I have a rook in his position. Now I can move the knight without threat of any queen nonsense, adding pressure, trying to tie down his rook, also threatening the fork. So he falls for the fork with 30 seconds. And now he goes here. We take the rook. We take the other rook, which is just a free rook. And our opponent resigns. Quite a game by a 900. Very well played. I mean, considering he was down a piece, defended very well. Down 2 pieces, still defended very well. Yeah, I mean, we have all zeros and 97%. So for this guy to just blunder 1 piece and then hold on so well is impressive. So we have center and development. Development center. Development center. King safety and development. And we play this move and we're already plus 1.4. So just much better. And that's because our opponent has bad development and a bad pawn structure and no central presence. He created a weakness, a hook. Center and development. Improving our position for free, gaining space for free. And then instead of going back like a normal person and just being worse positionally, you know, like a bad French, He just hangs the piece, so we take free stuff, and then from there on out, it's essentially +5 the rest of the game, just from here on all the way through. Because you're down a piece, and then I take free stuff, development center, king safety, free stuff, development center, free stuff because trades are wins, development center for free, development not center but because the center's already taken up and clogged and now the knight needs to find a different avenue, development for free, improving a piece. Now that all my pieces are developed, right, they're all in this position, they're all out. Now all I can do is improve them. This knight here one day, this knight here, this rook here, right? So I improved this piece, and now I improve another piece for free. Free stuff, force move, and then just the rest is just adding pressure, right? Jumping the knights to their best squares. I even retreat my knight defensively because it solves a lot of issues, even though you had other options. And you have a bind, and your position is amazing. And one of the cool things about this position is that when your opponent wants to attack on the b file with a rook, and you put your knight here, then he wants to naturally go to the c file and hit this backwards pawn. But the knight defends the pawn, so he can never break through. There's no entry. There's no way for the water to seep through without sacking the rook. So, really cool game. And this is what happens when you don't play principled. This is what happens when you don't put a pawn in the center by move 3. One pawn in the center by move 3. It's a good rule. See if that applies to you in your games. Anyway, good luck in your chess. Goodbye.